Welcome into the very first episode of Dog Talk. I am one of your hosts, Mike Napolitano.
And I am not Mike Napolitano. I am Derrick Geyer.
Welcome in as the season is just underway as of this past weekend, and the Dogs jumped out to a 3-0 record, Derrick, a sweep over the Gary South Shore Railcats.
It was an absolute treat this weekend.
Yeah, and I know the Gary South Shore Railcats have had a couple of rough seasons, but it's always good when you can get a couple of wins under your belt over games, of course, early in the season and games that you should or expect to win as the Dogs. But coming off of a season in which the Dogs made it to the championship, you would expect the double-edged sword of minor league baseball to kick in the fact that when you get that success, most of the time your players are then looked at by other leagues, bigger clubs, and you lose a lot of the team. Now, the Dogs have lost a lot of their 2023 team. In fact, I think there's only 4 or 5 players remaining here on the roster, and they have a completely new cast of characters, but yet still somehow finding ways to get the wins.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing when you could come back in after being so close to winning the championship to put together the team and after all, this is the independent league. So everyone was looked at. Everyone, for the most part, everyone was looked at. And to your point, they went on to either other independent league teams or they made the jump to the next level, and which is the absolute purpose of the independent league.
Yeah, that is, of course, the goal. But as the Dogs organization, their goal is to still come out with a winning attitude, winning product on the field, apart from that family-friendly environment. And on this show, throughout the year, we're going to be giving you both aspects. We're going to give you a lot of the stats about the Dogs, keep you informed on how they're doing on the field, but then we're also going to give you a little bit off the field and let you get to know some of the players, some of the personnel, and we're going to get to meet a lot of these new faces, as there are plenty of them, even the coaching staff.
Sure.
But let's start out with that first game Friday night. It was sold out. The home opener sold out within a couple hours of tickets being released. Yeah,
this is very true. And I might be mistaken. I might be mistaken here. But did you go to opening night?
I don't know what gave that away.
It might be the glasses.
I think I got a haircut. That's what it was.
You are looking, very studly there in your Dog's Hawaiian shirt.
Well, as Derrick was alluding to and mentioned just there, it was Hawaiian shirt giveaway night on Friday night for the home opener, and I'm usually a medium. This is a large, so I need to cut some calories, but there was a lot to love about the ballpark coming back this season. They have added a new beach chair that I thought was just going to be the theme of Hawaiian night, but it's there to stay now.
Well, I was wondering if they were trying to imply that they needed a lifeguard or something.
Yeah, and I didn't see any water out there other than what the players were drinking, but it was sunny and 80 degrees, so gorgeous. Perfect weather for baseball.
Absolutely.
And a start to the season. Now we got to get into the game itself. Jason Billis makes his Dogs debut and strikes out the side to start the game. That was really awesome to see him coming out with such dominance early on. It was the bottom of the first in which the Dogs got on the board, so they struck early on the offensive side as well. It was Narciso Crook getting an RBI as Brantley Bell scores. Narciso Crook had a sacrifice fly to the right fielder that was out number 2, but it got the Dogs on the board. And then the Dogs doubled down on that lead in the bottom of the 4th as Paven Parks advanced to second on a double, which scored Jacob Teeter. So the Dogs were up 2-0. And, of course, the final score was 3-0, so you're probably wondering where that third run came in. That was Jacob Teeter getting a single in which Narciso Crook scored on that play. So a 3-0 shutout victory right out the gates for the Dogs, and that was all that they needed. Billis goes 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, no earned runs, of course, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts in those 6 innings pitched. So a dominant starting effort for Billis.
Not a bad start. Not a bad start at all. And considering the fact that he did go 6 innings, striking out 9, the pitch count had to be a little bit elevated there.
Yeah, he had 72 pitches, 49 of them strikes. The other 3 innings were followed up by Kenny Surwa. 3 innings, no hits, no runs, no errors, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 41 pitches, 25 of those strikes for Surwa. So the pitching end for this Dogs team came out very hot, and the offense was there to capitalize as well. And as we move into the second game, we have to talk about the theme night for that one as well. That was Princess Night, and you were there for that, Derek.
Princess and Barbie night.
Are you now a pretty princess?
I have always been a very pretty princess.
All right. How was the weather for that one?
Oh, the weather, it was a little chilly. It wasn't quite as warm as 80 degrees. When you get the 6:30 starts, obviously the sun goes down at about like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and you're just dealing with it. You adjust appropriately because, after all, this is Chicago. You are at Impact Field, and, it is what it is. But overall, it was a pretty damn good game by the Dogs.
Yeah, the Dogs actually did not start out with the lead in this one. Gary gets a run in the second frame, but then a huge 6th inning for the Dogs in which they scored 5 runs. Bear with me as we go through some of this for you. It was first Paven Parks. He walked, which then scored Nick D'Alessandro. And then Joey Campagna, he struck out after that, which brought up Dusty Stroop.
And it was, I got to say, it was beautiful because he laced a double down the left field line, clearing the bags, another 3 runs in. Someone else came up behind him. I'm pretty sure it was Johnny Turbo.
Yep.
And, he hit a single, bring in Stroop. There's your 5 runs.
Great manufactured effort there from the Dogs. Those 3 runs were Narciso Crook, David Mayberry, and Paven Parks. Of course, the hit that Johnny Turbo, you were mentioning, that scored Dusty Stroop. So 5 runs for the Dogs. They did give up 1 in the top of the 9th to the Railcats, but they held on for a 5-2 win. And that was Saturday, so that brings us to Sunday, which was Mother's Day. It was a pink hat giveaway. They also had some gray hats, from what I heard.
Yeah,
neither one of us were there for that.
We were not here, but we are relying on our correspondents for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of information.
Yes. So. But as well as the point streak stats here for the actual game note information. The Dogs jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the second, but Gary answered in the fourth. 1-1 tie going into the bottom of the fourth, and the Dogs score another run in which Gary matched in the top of the fifth. But the Dogs said, no more of this. We're going to score 2 in the bottom of the fifth to make it 4-2. But then Gary one-upped them instead. In the top of the sixth, they score 3 runs. So the Dogs had to answer back in late innings. They did so in the 7th and the 8th, posting 1 and 3 runs respectively. Dogs come out of this one with 8 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors to Gary's 5 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error, and complete the sweep of the Railcats.
Falling down, or not actually falling down, but falling behind and being able to come back like they did, I think this is definitely one of those things going forward for the Chicago Dogs that their new manager is going to instill upon them, Jeff Issam. So, because he's got over 20 years of big league experience. He knows what he's doing. He broke in with the Pirates. He's been on various Major League Baseball teams. And when he got the call from the Dogs, he accepted. And I think we can look for pretty big things this year from the Dogs.
And I would be glad if that was the case, so I hope you are right. That leads us into Monday. It was an off day. Tuesday, they will be traveling today to Lake Country to face the Dockhounds. The Dockhounds started out the season 0-3 as they were swept, but they get this homestand as Chicago goes to them today, Tuesday, as we are talking. That game is currently... See if I can refresh this here.
Looks like the Dogs are down currently, 4-3.
4-3 in the top of the third.
Yep.
And that game started at 6:35. Tomorrow's game, Wednesday the 15th, will be another 6:35 start.
If I might interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
Mr. Crook has actually gone deep for the fourth time this season already.
Narciso Crook not only impacted both the Friday and Saturday games for the Dogs. You heard him as some of those runs or knock in some of those RBIs. Mm-hmm. He is the third Dogs player in Dogs history to hit 3 home runs in a game, and he did that on Mother's Day on Sunday.
Whoa.
I'm pretty sure he hit one onto 294, but they have a netting there, so we couldn't really gauge whether or not it would have hit the highway.
I mean, it is Impact Field, so I think they might be covered as far as the insurance goes. I think. Is true.
But you talk about impact, and that is what Narciso Crook has done, has impacted this team in a positive way.
Absolutely.
You talk about him hitting his 4th already, hopefully in this game. I believe you are correct. So the Dogs will look to come back in this one. As we round out that Lake Country schedule, Thursday, May 16th, will be the final game in that 3-game series. That is an 11:05 a.m. start. All of those are at WBC Park up in... How do you say it?
Oconomowoc,
there you go.
Wisconsin.
Oconomowoc. I'm going to have to learn that by the end of the season. As we move into the weekend, the Dogs are back home. Yeah. And Friday will be a 6:30 start against Sioux City. As far as the giveaways and the special happenings throughout the ballpark, Friday night is an umbrella giveaway presented by Miller Lite. And they also have a happy hour from 5 to 6 p.m. with live music and drink specials. The first 1,500 fans in attendance will receive a Chicago Dogs umbrella. And, of course, there is the post-game run the bases. Now, I have my Chicago Dogs umbrella. It actually came in handy at a baseball game that I went to yesterday.
Imagine that being in Chicago.
Yeah, no kidding. So get there early, fans, if you want that one. The second game against the Sioux City Explorers will be Saturday night at 6 p.m., and that is country night and fireworks. Of course, it's a Saturday. Every Saturday will be fireworks night presented by Wintrust, and you can come dressed as your favorite, in your favorite country gear. Friends and family 4-packs are presented by Caddyshack, and then, of course, the post-game fireworks.
Brought to you by Wintrust.
Exactly. And then Sunday will conclude the homestand in the series with the Sioux City Explorers. That's a 3 p.m. start, and that will be Family Sunday, so enjoy $3 bottomless popcorn. It is back once again, folks, and $3 bottomless fountain drinks. There's pregame catch on the field and pregame player autographs just like last year. So get out there early, get a chance to step onto Impact Field, play a little catch.
Growing up, being a little leaguer, playing high school ball, playing college ball, and I know it's not quite the majors and everything, but it really is something that you and your family, you and your little ones are going to enjoy. Seeing them round the bases, throw the ball on an actual big league, field. So I highly recommend coming out there and enjoying it, because in all of the baseball experiences that I've had, Wrigley, Comiskey, various other parks throughout the country, this is a very enjoyable, family-friendly environment. I'm your host, Derek Geyer.
And I'm your other host, Mike Napolitano. You know what? There you go. You like that, people at home? We'll see you next time on Dog Talk.